So who takes care of you?
I do.
No, I've never had a boyfriend. She was like, how old are you? I said 27. She's like, and you've never had a boyfriend? And I like never really cared. But there's something about her like saying that really hit me this time, because like I've never been on even like 2 dates with the same person. Like even guys I've talked to or like hooked up with, they'll slowly stop talking to me, and then I find out they have a girlfriend or they get into a new relationship like a week later. And like when I was younger and I didn't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, I'd be like, it's because I'm fat. I used to weigh like 320 pounds. I lost 160 pounds. It's not like I'm being hit up every day, every week, even every month with like people in my DMs or like messaging me on Snapchat trying to get with me. It's like no one hits me up. It's not even like I'm being selective with who I'm picking and like turning people away. It's just like people aren't coming up to me, and I don't understand.
So I'm a single mom of 2, and I kind of wanted to share why I don't and will not date anymore.
We don't care.
So I've now been single for about 8 months. Help.
I don't think we will. Men have already decided to walk away, and no amount of begging will cause us to change our minds. While some try to blame men for the problems with relationships by saying there's no good men anymore, we can see this isn't true by looking at what women say about dating each other.
And what I found very fascinating is that the more I date women, the more I find myself understanding heterosexual men.
Despite this, women still insist that men are to blame.
Men are the problem. Every single woman I know.
We don't care.
If men were actually the problem, women shouldn't be having any issues when they date each other. Yet, as we can see, the problems men are supposed to be causing still happen, even when a man isn't present. In fact, the problems you blame men for only seem to get worse, as the lesbian divorce rate is 72%.
Is this not what women have been fighting for? Equality, screaming at the top of their lungs their independence. So why do you need a man to get up and give you a seat? You should have been there on time like a man to find your own seat. Or do we get to nitpick and choose when men are supposed to respect us, or nitpick our equality?
They seem to forget men don't owe them anything, and a man giving up his seat was a privilege they lost. But it's interesting to see them complain about men not giving up their seat, but never once complain that they don't have to sign up for the draft, or that men still make up the overwhelming majority of all dangerous jobs that keep society running. Like she said in the video, it seems like they just want to nitpick which areas they want equality in.
Make that pistol pop.
The argument for child support has been around for over 50 years now, and the most common thing you'll hear from the proponents of it is it's for the benefit of the children. Yet, as we see in this video, more often than many people want to admit, it never reaches the children. Instead, the moms who collect it use it for themselves, and they have no problem flexing on the internet and bragging about it, as we've seen here. Why? Because there's absolutely no accountability for where that money goes, which is one of the reasons why fathers get so upset about it. Imagine if you're the man paying this woman child support, and she's out on the internet bragging about how she took that money, did not use it for the children, and spent it on herself to get her hair done, of all things. Not for food, not for housing, not to pay her utility bills. No, to get her hair done, to make herself look and feel better. Which is why men get so upset about it.
As long as the courts get their cut of the child support, they could care less how it's spent.
How I found out my top spicy fan is my uncle. My little uncle that I have family dinners with all the time and am super close with. So, you know, he's my top sub. There's no name, photo, like that's very normal. He purchases all my stuff. We message all the time, like dirty talk, all that kind of stuff. And then we're at dinner, which is just normal, like a family dinner, and he's sitting next to me. Oh, I wonder why you conveniently wanted to sit next to me. He goes up to the bathroom, he's left his phone there. A notification comes through, an email notification. It's my name. My name has come up. So I open it because he's like old and he doesn't even lock his phone. I open it and I see who it is and I'm like, holy shit. Like all my family is like seeing this and like disgusted. He literally walks back in. I literally throw my spaghetti at him. And I'm like, you're disgusting. He knows exactly what's going on. So he literally just like leaves. My family is never going to talk to him again. Like that is so messed up. His kids probably won't talk to him again now as well. Like what the actual hell? Like there's my uncle. You literally used to change my nappy for me. Like you've known me since I was born. And that, stuff like this, it's like sometimes you think it's a bad dream. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. And then the fact he's actually tried to message me again. Like trying to explain himself and say sorry. And then he's going to purchase another thing from my account. Like, what?
You're both weird. He shouldn't be buying it, and you shouldn't be selling it.
I'm 30 years old. Almost all of my friends are in long-term serious relationships or married or with kids, and I am feeling lonely. I've previously been really good about covering up this loneliness with work. I'm a surgery resident. I work 80 hours a week, so I don't often really have time to sit in that loneliness. But the past year, I changed to a research schedule where I work more normal 40-hour weeks, and it's been a lot more depressing for me. You see everybody's lives move forward. You have failed relationship after situationship after whatever, and you just wonder, is this time ever coming for me? And I don't really want to emphasize any of the cliches of it'll happen when you least expect it or be happy with yourself first. That did not help me. That made me infuriated at people that told me that. But okay, so February 9th, so I'm specifically sitting at the airport in Houston, and they make an announcement on the loudspeaker that $600 they're offering if you'll sit in the Houston airport for 6 hours. I was like, okay, sign me up. Then I immediately, while I'm waiting now for my 6-hour later flight, I look at where Southwest Airlines flies internationally because I also like to fill my time and my loneliness with trips and traveling. So February 9th, I'm also now sitting at this airport, and I have this trip planned to go see my friend in New York the next week, and that's where my last situationship had just moved. And I remember being in the airport so anxious to text him that I'm going to New York and not knowing if he was going to want to see me or not. So I work up the courage to text him, and he says, like, yeah, like, let's grab dinner. So then literally 1 week later, I was in New York, I see him, and the rest of the weekend carries on. I reach out to him a few days later asking if he wants to do one more thing before I leave, and basically he just like shuts me down entirely. And I think to me, this is one of those things where you like create this future in your head because you're just so lonely and you're just looking to hook on to anything. So unfortunately, when he shut me down, I was at Bottomless Mimosas with my friends, and so we went back to her apartment, and I sobbed fetal position on the floor. Reiterated how I'm never going to find anybody, I'm going to be alone forever. And the thing is I had actually gotten to that cliche, be happy on your own place, where I had looked into freezing my eggs. I had thought about a future where I was a single mom. I really want kids. But obviously, if I can find a partner that makes my life better, I want that.
Everyone says discipline is so important, but they never want to tell you why. I'll tell you why. It's the strongest form of self-love. It's ignoring something you want right now for something better later on. Discipline reveals the commitment you have to your dreams, especially on the days that you don't want to. The future you is depending on the current you to keep the promises that you made to yourself yesterday. That's today's words of wisdom. Why don't you watch that again?